Hi, I'm Dr. Charles E. Rogers, Senior Pastor of Hope Community Church. We're excited week after week, knowing that you have the opportunity to join us in our worship experience through the medium of television. As you know, through television, we're only able to provide a small sampling of the incredible worship that goes on at Hope Community. And we want to invite you to come out and be with us. We're located at 1111 Pulaski Pike, right here in the center of Huntsville, Alabama. We'd just be glad to have you and your entire family coming and be a part of our worship experience. God bless you. We're the Hope Community Church, the church where everybody's somebody and no one is a stranger. Be blessed.
My job is to bless you, not to know about you. In fact, I speak blessings over your life. Right now, I decree that no evil shall befall you. And your children are blessed. Your spouse is blessed. Your friends and people that know you will never fail. I pray that God will give you good blessings, pressed down, shaken together, running over. I pray that you walk in a wealthy place, that everywhere the sole of your foot tread, it's already yours. Look at 5 people around here and say, I decree blessings over you. It's coming to your house. It's coming to your house. Everything you asked for is coming to your house. No more dumb stuff in the church. No more bitterness. No more jealousy. Blessings. You've been talking too much junk. It's time to talk blessings. I lost this sermon. But I bless you. I bless where you're going. I bless the favor over your mind. I bless you for what you have left. And what you have left is enough. God's going to multiply the seed that he's already declared over your home. You need to find somebody, hug 3 people in here and tell them how blessed they are. Go ahead. Let's take a minute and just say blessings. The problem with the church is we talk about too much junk. It's time to start talking about favor and riches and loving. I don't want to hear nothing else negative about you. I want to hear about the blessings over you. Tell me how you won. Tell me that you got the job. Tell me that you... Tired of losing ground, tired of going backwards, tired of having all hung up spirits, because everything you put in your spirit you see in your life, and I don't want to see it in my life, so I don't put it in my spirit. Whatever you judge, you get the same judgment from God. That's why when I talk about you, I talk miracle over you and blessing over you, because if I bless you, God's gonna bless me. Hebrews chapter number 11 and Galatians chapter number 4. I've been in a fight all week with the devil. And this is one of the things that I need him to know. I'm not tired of fighting. I'm not seeing this many spirit. And first of all, thank all of y'all for being here. Because you're going to help somebody be delivered today. All right, look at your neighbor and just tell them thank you. You thanking them in advance for what God's going to walk out of them. Hebrews 11 chapter 11 verse number 15. I woke up this morning and it was so hard to get out of bed. You know, I said, man, I'm usually up, jumping up Sunday morning. I'm, ready to go. But man, that itis had me so, okay, I can't get no help. and I said, man, you know what? I'm going to let them have that first part of the service. And I'm just going to give me some sweet sleep. But the Lord just said, get up. You've been sleeping long enough. You're going to sleep through your moment. I may need that. Oracle, you might be right. Y'all got it fixed back there? You see I'm trying to wait on you. Are y'all ready? See what? Oh, I thought you said. No, I'm looking at you, Tosh. Oh, okay. I'm not going to move very much today. Verse number 15, and it says, and truly, mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have return. But now they desire a better country, that is, a heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. Galatians chapter 5. Just, oh, thank you, Jesus. My bow tie. Galatians chapter 5, verse number 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. And the church said, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't go back. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Ooh. I'm in the final stages of publishing a book entitled Delivered but Damaged 2. It is the second book that I've published and the third which I've written. And I'm writing it because I want to be what I preach and do what I say. And I'm tired of having dreams about going over the rainbow while still stuck in Kansas. And secondly, then I want to be able to say that when I started going forward, that I didn't back up. You will never get to your promises that you were promised in life until you do what you say in life. Before I tell you and you tell me why you didn't and why you couldn't and why you don't understand, let me say to you that God understands. Whatever he's commanded in your life, he's seen every hindrance in your life. And yet he commands, go forward. You would never have be brought into a place by God if there was no answers from God. He would never brought you out of Egypt if he didn't have you ready for your promise. You may not have the promise yet. You may not understand it yet. Some of you may not even have heard it clearly yet. But the fact that you're sitting here this morning says that God has given you a promise. In fact, your dissatisfaction in one place is the alarm in your spirit that it's time to move to your next place. And I don't want to make it sound like the journey is going to be easy, because for some of you, you know that it's a miracle that you're here even right now. God. That you didn't go back. You think of all the things that God did to drag you out. It'd be difficult to understand how anybody in the midst of light afflictions would ever go back in. Why would anybody who God delivers forget how much it cost for you to be delivered? And we have made some people think in the church that this promise was easy to get and that you didn't have to fight through what you fought through to get it. But we need to go and rewind, because I might as well get in trouble. Anybody who leaves God, it's because really they don't know God. Because if you think of the price that was paid for you to be saved, it would never enter your mind to miss salvation. We have to be careful in the church, because we have made people think more highly of themselves than they ought. We've got the nerve to threaten to leave God when we somehow must have missed the memo of how bad we needed God. Sometimes I know it looks cute to say that I'm ready to press on and move another way and do something else with my life, but no matter where you go in your life gonna have to come straight back to God. Tripping because in the church we've got it turned around. We because we want massive churches and massive crowds, we no longer tell massive truth because we spend most of our time trying to cuddle and to make people think of their value in the church, when the truth of the matter is, if it didn't have God, if they didn't have God's mercy on them, that if we would tell them the truth, that they were sinking deep in sin, and they were the ones who were stuck in Egypt, and they were burdened and they were depressed. And if you were like me, when you came to church, you were so glad that God lifted up the burden off of your life that there would be nothing that can convince you to ever go back into where you came from. We better be careful, because it wasn't us. It wasn't God that needed us. It was us who really needed God. And every time we come in here, we ought to thank God every day that he was faithful, and thank him that he didn't take away the promise, and thank him that he preserved our life, and thank him that he didn't judge us. We know that we could have had the opportunity, we could have backslid when anytime we want, but when we think of all that God has done for us, honey, we were glad when they said, let's go to the house of the Lord. Is there anybody in here beside me understand, honey, that my coming to church and your coming to church ain't because we think the church need us. We need the church. We need God. We need it, and we need God today more than we ever needed him before, because we need his mercy. We need new mercies every morning. Is there anybody in here who wakes up in the morning knowing that even though my body is sick, and even though my money is gone, and even though my friends are faking, I still need to get in the midst of the presence of God, because if it had not been for God, I feel like preaching, don't worry about it. I don't know how anybody can have the nerve to complain about God giving them the opportunity to miss hell and go all the way to heaven. I don't know why anybody, after all that we've been through and after all that we've done, do you not understand that no matter who you are, you still not worthy, and no matter how you live, yeah, you gave up drinking and smoking and cussing, but you're still not worthy. You still no worthy than the person who's still doing all the stuff you got rid of. And the thing, if God didn't give you the mercy, honey, you would be sitting here, and your wig will be turned on backwards, because it was God that helped you remember your name and remember your phone number and remember how to count to 10. And we don't thank him like we ought to thank him. We complain about stuff that we don't even need. But if we remember how good God has been to us, honey, nobody would convince us to ever get out of our seat. Nobody should have to beg you to walk into the house of God. You ought to be skipping and dancing and telling God, Lord, thank you for just one more chance. Stay with me a little while. I'm going to preach after I get off my soapbox. How is it for anybody who know God would wrestle with their relationship with God? I understand that it's hard to deal with people, but there are some things you put up with to get to what you really want. Anybody, you'd put up with if you found a good man, you wouldn't care so much if he snore. You go to bed early, you say, because sometimes you have to put up with some. I can't get nobody. As much as God has done for you, you tell me that you can't put up with the things that come to you. I don't understand it. I never understood how it is that somebody who tasted of God could leave God and to go back on God. I've never understood how it is that we came to God because of trouble, but we leave him when we get in trouble. I've never understood how it is that after all that we've seen God do, like Israel, we've seen his miracles, but yet when we get into our wilderness, we still complain. I've asked God, and God, y'all pray for me, because I've asked God to help me get rid of the spirit of complaint. Complaint has always hurt me in my spirit. It closed my eyes to what God wanted to do, and the very fact that God brought me out ought to be enough for me to spend the rest of my life thanking him for coming out. Is there anybody in here who's just glad? See, there's some people in here, you were still good and you lived a good life before you got saved, but honey, I thank him that he brought me out, because him bringing me out kept me from being locked up, and kept me from being shot, and kept me from being in situations that I won't ever be able to live down. God commanded Abraham to leave your father's house, and he never went back. See, there's some things that God says, honey, you ought to be so glad about that you don't ever go back. And there's some people who's going to in this room today who going to turn this whole service around, because you know that God has called you out of some stuff, baby. And even your neighbor, if you could tell all your secrets, honey, they wouldn't want to mess with you today. But God did it. He delivered you, and there'd be no way for you to look around at God after all he did and say, I don't want to be saved no more. Even though the world may look good, but you've been in it, and you know that everything that look good ain't good, and you got to start telling God, Lord, I thank you. It's always broke my heart to see people who, given the opportunity to put their hands to the plow, to look back. Oh, I know this ain't going to be for everybody today. How is it that you have been given the privilege to gain access to the kingdom, yet you look back? The Bible says then you're no longer worthy of the kingdom. It takes a kind of faith to stand when things start falling apart. And that's why you got to make sure that the people in your life are the people for your life in those times when your life is falling apart. See, I don't want nobody else in my life who ain't interested in my faith, and nobody who ain't believing my dream. Get away from people that think you crazy when you talk about where you're going and what God has already done. I don't have to exaggerate my testimony. He brought me from a mighty long way. Get away from people who can't see what you've already heard. See, if you don't have vision and you hook up with people who ain't got vision, why are you surprised that y'all in the same condition? If you're going to stand with God, you got to stop seeking confirmation from man. You don't need nobody to verify what God says. You got too many people in your life who've been imparting dreams and they ain't got dreams themselves. It's time for you to find somebody who's able to get you to your next place. God said you're going to be healed. Quit taking votes. Healing is already yours. God says that you're going to be delivered if you're going to get the house. Honey, start shopping for the right springs and the right mattresses for the bed and the right curtains to put up on the window. Because whatever God says, I feel like preaching now. Whatever God says is going to come to pass. The reason that you had to go through your past trouble is that God intended your last trouble. You see, because there's times in your life where God puts you in a place where he just lets you mess up because he wants you to mess up where you are so you won't mess up where you're going. I wish I had somebody in here. That's why you went through all of these ugly relationships, because you had to figure out how to have a good one on somebody you could practice on. Just give somebody a high five and say that was practice. Baby, when the real thing come, I'll have my stuff together. I'll be everything they need. Don't worry, I'm going to preach. I feel like preaching. If you read my first book, sit down. Then you know I talked about Jonathan's son Mephibosheth, who found himself in desolate Lodabar. And I don't know if I don't know nothing else. There's a place in your life, honey, that is a desolate place. But God needs you to go there before you go to your next place. And when it looks like ain't nothing gonna work. Have you ever been there where everything you tried just didn't work? Have you ever been in a place where you prayed and you've done everything everybody say do? They said if you be faithful, if you come, God's gonna lift you out of it, but you're still in it. Honey, that's Lodabar. Don't worry about Lodabar, because see what the devil don't understand, and you need to understand that regardless of what the devil do, he cannot tell you no. I wish I had some help in this place. I don't care if he said that your healing ain't coming. He has no right to tell you no, because if God said, oh God, that you're going to be able to be healed, the devil can't tell you no. And Mephibosheth, he was down in Lodabar. And what I want you to understand is Mephibosheth was the king's. He was the king's grandson, but he didn't live like a king, because at 5 years old, the Bible says that David remembered his bilateral agreement with Jonathan and says, there anybody from the house of Saul that I might bless thee? And they said, well, Jonathan got a son named Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was down in Lodabar, crippled and broke, should have been the king's kid, but he ain't got nothing. But I need to tell those of you who ain't got nothing, God still know where you are. You may not have the job, but God remembers you. You may not have a car, but God knows where you are.